This is sports stuff. Betting stuff.
Meow.
Ciao, Jim, anything?
No, I don't think I have this week any room to talk or give cute sound effects.
You have no words.
No.
All right. This is sports stuff, betting stuff. Today is Thursday, October 26th. This is the number one sports betting podcast coming out of the Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise. I am your host, the original degenerate, Muff, joined alongside the medical degenerate, the person who talks about all of the Gumbies, whether we want to hear about them or not, talks about when people get poked in the lung. Alex?
That's me.
And last but certainly not least, we have the Ohio degenerate, the Ohio homer, and the capo of the Midwest Crack House, Jim.
Hello.
This is our weekly betting episode where we chat about last week's games that we put the monies on. We'll get into our special bets, which we're still on a heater with one of those, and we may need to capitalize on that, or it may start going the other way, to be determined. We'll get into this week's games in the college and NFL world and talk about our best bets going into this weekend. As always, our exclusive app for betting is
FanDuel.
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 FanDuel. And you can see most of our bets, some of our bets, maybe week to week on the Action app.
I think I put mine on last week. I did.
I still didn't, but I'm at Real Medical Degenerate. You never know. This could be the week.
Follow him for no reason.
Follow Alex. Alex will put notes into his bets about medical things, maybe.
Yeah, you never
Maybe.
know.
Maybe not. You can see me at C McPherson 20 and Jim.
Bucketville Butcher.
That is it. Well, let's just rip off the Band-Aid this week, gents.
It was not good.
It was not good overall.
I'll go first.
No, that would.
Yeah, no, I'm going first.
Why?
I'm going first.
You're just breaking. It's usually the best person that goes first.
I'm mixing it up. We got to change shit up.
You got to change it up. Alex and I aren't in terrible spots,
You ain't winning.
but we ain't losing like you.
Ain't losing.
Well, I'm changing it up.
This is what if this negatively impacts us?
Well, shit happens. I was 2-5. I lost a lot. My only two wins were the Falcons plus 2.5 against the Bucks, and my man Lane minus 6.5 to Auburn. I lost the Raiders -3 to the Bears. I lost the Lions +3 to the Ravens in a slugger, as in they just kept punching the Lions in the face. I lost Minnesota -3.5 to, or Iowa -3.5 to Minnesota. I lost Duke plus 13.5 to Florida State, and then UNC -23.5 to Virginia. And I followed Alex in that Duke game. And I'm not going to hold him responsible for that, because if that kid doesn't get hurt, Duke probably would have won that game. So none of that is Alex's fault.
Wow. That was really sweet.
You're welcome.
Alex?
Muff.
I'll go. Alex, since we'll go in reverse order here. I was 4-4. Started my week off with a win on Thursday night as James Madison covered 3.5, traveling to the Thundering Herd in West Virginia, taking on Marshall. I then went 1-1 in the Penn State-Ohio State game. I did not get Penn State plus the points, but I did get the under 46.5 in that game.
I thought you had the over. And I was so like, man, you missed both those marks. I did not realize you took the under.
I definitely took the under.
Huh.
Unfortunately, the referees, the officials, got in the way of the Iowa to cover 3.5, hosting Minnesota, which I'm still trying to figure out how in the world that is reviewed for DeGene stepping out of bounds and they come to the conclusion of the fair catch. We gotta figure something out about how that review process goes, because that's just dumb. I won Michigan to cover 24.5, traveling to Michigan State.
Well, I think that should be absolved.
No, don't think so. guess what happened, Jim? It was still a W.
Well, next year when they take it away.
They can't take that win away from the betting world.
No, but it should be.
No, it won't be. The Commanders to cover 2, taking on the Giants. The Giants went outright, so that didn't work. Falcons to cover plus 2.5. The Falcons won outright, so that was a win. And I, like everyone else, was on the lines plus the points when they got destroyed by the Ravens. 4-4, 28-21 overall, 571 winning percentage. Jim is 25, 27-1 overall with a 472 winning percentage.
I try to purposely avoid talking about it.
And I will come at you from the top with overall 30-21 with a 588 winning percentage. This week I was 3-3. I lost the Commanders -2 at the Giants. I won Falcons plus 2.5 at Bucks. I won Missouri -6.5 versus South Carolina. I won Ole Miss -6.5 at Auburn. I lost the Duke plus 13.5 at Florida State. And I lost USC -6.5 versus Utah.
3-3 for Alex.
Held the rope, but
all right. In our special picks in the Mike All-Star Hit Stick Pick of the Week.
Pow, 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 pow.
Did not pow, as again, the Iowa fair catch issue came to rue the day for us. So that's a loss, bringing the hit stick pick to 3-5 for the year. In the Midwest Mobster Risky Pick of the Week.
Get out of here.
We are victorious again as the Falcons money line is a winner, bringing the risky pick to 6-2 on the year.
Pretty happy with this. I think
Pretty
we're
good.
doing good things here.
We will continue, and there's no reason to make any changes on that particular situation. In the Lolita Whale of a Parlay.
Are you fucking kidding me? I was gonna lose my mind. You were repressed, suppressed, held back last week.
That's because I was in a hospital.
So I figured this week you were gonna let it shine.
I'm strong. Let your whale shine, Alex. Let your whale shine. We lost every leg in this except for the Falcons plus the points at the Bucks. We lost the Commanders to cover at the Giants, Lions plus the points traveling to Baltimore, and Iowa to cover hosting the Gophers of Minnesota, which means everybody's back in.
Yeah,
we
tried again.
We go on. I don't even know who the Falcons pick was, but that was the only winner.
It wasn't me, I'll tell you that much.
I think it may have been me, but it doesn't matter. We're all back in.
Mm-hmm.
We're all looking for that elusive win with the whale of a parlay that is now 0-6, which brings us into NFL Week 7. First on Thursday, we have the Bucks traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills favored by 8.5, over under 42.5 points. It's Thursday.
I'm staying away.
Yep, already got burnt.
All right, boys. I'm bucking the trend again.
Bills have not played. I mean, I can't believe the Bills are favored by that much.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
am going to get back on the Bills train. I'm going to take the Bills to cover in Thursday Night Football over the Bucks, over a hapless Bucks team in Buffalo. Buffalo coming off a couple bad weeks on fraud alert. I think the Bills show out in this game and they win by 10 plus points.
And you're basing that on just a feel like
this
you've
will
come
be
all week or every game this year, every time we've bet with facts and analysis. This is a feel for you.
This is a feel. This is a bounce back opportunity for the Bills. The Bucks have a lot of injuries. Not that the Bills don't. The Bills have had injuries that have been lingering for the past 2 or 3 weeks. The Bucks have Godwin, who's questionable. They have Baker Mayfield is questionable. Vita Vea is questionable. Offensive lineman Filer is out for the Bucks, and they also have a safety. Merriweather is out. So I am taking this as the Bills are just a superior team, and in a short week, the Bills are going to show out. Stephon Diggs, I think, has a big game in Thursday Night Football, gets the primetime spotlight, and it's time for the Bills to recover.
I want to disagree with you. But I'm gonna put it in there and think about it. Because I think you're right. Like everything you said, I was thinking, but the Thursday thing makes me want to stay away, and the Bills' track record the last 2 games makes me want to stay away.
I think this is one of those the books are trying to get one over on us.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the Bucks more than a touchdown. The Bills have been falling off. We want to see more action on the Bucks here.
Yeah.
And the Bills just come out and just demolish them.
That's fair.
So this is more of a contrarian bet based on the trends. Which, if I'm being honest, that's how a lot of the sharps and the sharks make their money, is going against the public. In fact, I think this week the public money just got destroyed, right? I think the first 4 or 5 weeks of the NFL season, the public was on the good side. And last week, definitely last week and maybe the last 2 weeks, the public money has just got gobbled up by the sports books.
Fair enough.
Going into Sunday football in the early slate, we start with the Eagles at the Commanders. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Eagles favored by 6.5, over under 43.5 points.
Like I lean the Eagles on this one, but because the same concept, superior team. I don't think the Commanders have enough to hang with them. I think the spread's low enough to make it interesting. I don't really care that it's at the Commanders. I think Philly will travel well.
Yeah, Philly coming off a big win, right? Nick Sirianni being Nick Sirianni just keeps on tossing in people's faces when they doubt him. In fact, he even said in his press conference that every first down for them is 1st and 9 because they can get a yard every time on 4th down or 3rd down, right? So the Commanders have done nothing to make us feel confident in them. So I'm going to go with the Eagles in a show out spot. Eagles just take care of business, do what they got to do, and they cover in this game. I'm on the Eagles.
I would prefer if they were flipped. Like if it was the Bucks minus 6.5 or the Bills minus 6.5 and the Eagles minus 8. I bet. Oh yeah, I'll take. This is almost too easy. This feels like a trap.
No, I sometimes you feel that way. This one, I think I'm just gonna take all of the noise out of the equation and just take the superior team in a game that they're supposed to win. Other thoughts?
I think I'm going to take the Eagles.
All right. Next, we have the Jaguars traveling to Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers. Jags minus 2.5, over under 41.5. Rain is very likely in Pittsburgh on Sunday afternoon. Steelers have obviously now have Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. Pat Freiermuth is still out. I think he's out for at least another couple weeks. Beyond that, the Steelers are actually getting a little bit healthier overall. The Jaguars are on a bit of a hot streak right now. I think they've won 2 or 3 in a row. 3 in a row, right? They won both games in London, and they came back last week and won. Trevor Lawrence is still questionable, although I don't expect him not to play in this game. Zay Jones has still been questionable. He continues to be questionable. I've said he's the key to their offensive output. I'm going to stay away in this one, right? The Steelers, I think there's going to be a lot of money on the Steelers based on their improvement, especially after bye weeks. But the Jaguars are just a tough team, and I don't want to be on the other side of that one just yet.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, if I was forced to anything, I'd lean towards the under, right? Especially if the rain picks up in that game. Steelers have a solid defense. We all know that they can just be absolute poop on offense. This could be one of those like 14-10 games, 17-10 games, but without knowing for sure about the rain, I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Saints traveling to Indianapolis into the Dome to take on the Coats. Saints favored by 2.5, over under 43.5. Minshew Maniac still at the helm, obviously for the rest of the season for the Coats.
I don't know about this one. Don't feel good about either pick on this one.
Nope, staying away.
I'm going to stay away. If I was forced, I would favor the Colts just because they now have the two-headed monster in the running back position with Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. And the Saints have just been so up and down. So up and down that I just
I
don't know.
agree. I
But
feel like both of these teams have been, and that's why I don't feel confident putting my money on either of them.
yeah. With y'all on that. Texans at the Panthers. Texans favored by 3. 43.5 is the point line.
So my dance card is getting full, but I like the Panthers here.
Pray tell.
I think shit, you asked me way too fast. I just had it. Hold on, I'll tell you why. Give me 1 second. Holding. I think Thean will go off in this game. Um I like I just like that I think it's at Carolina, right? And I don't think Houston is as good a team. So I just lean that way. It's a vibe for me.
Okay. I can't go against the vibe. I can't argue against the vibe. I don't really have much to offer in this game aside from Laramie Tunsil is questionable.
I mean, I'm taking them with the points. I might get crazy and make a money line bet on Sunday if depending on how Saturday looks. But I like the Panthers.
Okay.
I might do some crazy fantasy football shit too based on this game. This game's gonna like really determine a lot of my leagues and shit.
Yeah, of all of the games on the slate, this is the one I didn't really think you would be super invested in, but
Yeah, it really is. I got a lot of things contingent on this game.
Okay.
see that.
We'll see. We'll see how that pans out for Jim. Next week, we have now the Rams traveling to Dallas and Jerry World to take on the Cowboys. The Cowboys favored by 6.5, over under 45.
I mean,
I
which
think
Cowboys team shows up?
I think this is one where they show up pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting. This is the thing, right? We just continue to wait.
Yeah.
And sooner or later it's going to happen, but you just never know when it's going to happen. So I can't disagree that this could be a breakout game. Right, the Rams coming off a loss to the Steelers, traveling to Jerry World. This could be a show out spot for the Cowboys. Falcons at Titans. Falcons favored by 2.5, over to 35.5. We have about a 40-50% chance of rain in this game. We are probably going to see Bijan Robinson play. Whatever illness he had that was ailing him last week apparently is not significant enough to give a questionable status.
I think he had a hangover. I'm still on that.
Jim's still on the hangover train. I'm gonna ride this. I'm gonna ride the Falcons. Right,
I thought about it here.
Solid defense against a lackluster Titans offense. I think the Falcons are able to get it done in this one. Bijan Robinson plays. The team looks different with Bijan Robinson. They were able to pull out a win last week. I think they pull out another one.
I'm not messing with this.
Yeah, I actually like that take too. I think that the Titans really haven't looked great.
And there's talks they're trading people away. I woke up this morning that they were trying to trade the king.
Well, at this point, they better get something for him because they ain't getting championships.
I'm sorry, Muff. I also question this whole questionable bullshit that they're doing on the status of their players, and Bijan is one of those that, like, I think people play with this injury report because when I woke up this morning and was messing with fantasy football, there was maybe one. I have those 3 leagues. I had maybe 1, 2 per league. Now, when I looked at it based on this, I see like there's 7, 8 guys that are now questionable.
Well, it's Wednesday. This is the day where everyone gets the questionable designation, and by Friday they may be probable or off the injury list.
Right. So, like, I'm not letting that affect me this week.
All right, Jets at Giants. Jets favored by 3, 36.5, low total. In this one, there is a chance of rain in Jazzy.
a hard time backing the Jets on this one, even though they're the favorites. I think what's his name, the coach for the Giants, Diebold.
For the
Dowell?
Giants, yeah, Brian Dabbled.
He's
Dabble.
he got him fired up over there.
You think?
I
He,
think
he
so.
he himself looked fired up in the last game.
And the one before, he's a ball buster. I think that I think it's gonna be a good game.
All right. Daniel Jones still questionable with his neck injury.
They don't really need him.
Well, they may not need him, but they paid him like they need him, so it's gonna be tough to
Yeah,
keep him off the field.
I agree with that.
I'm staying away from this one, right? This is the battle of the New York teams that, right, of the two, the Giants probably should have the most promise, but the Jets seem to just continue to stay in games. This could be that true field goal game, but either way.
Yeah.
Patriots at the Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 9.5. 46.5 is the total. There's a chance of
For the Sith
rain,
Lord.
windy. Patriots coming off for them a big win. Dolphins coming off a loss. Just a loss. Not a bad loss, just a loss.
Look out for the Sith Lord in this.
I don't know. 9.5, I think, is too high for me. But I think the Dolphins take care of business.
Pats plus the points if I had to have a gun to my head.
All right. In the last game of the 1:00 slate, we have the Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. Vikings favored by 1.5. 38.5 is the over under line. Likely, 50% chance of rain. Vikings still obviously.
Hawkinson questionable.
Hawkinson.
Yeah. Addison questionable. The Wednesday bugs have bit everybody for the Vikings, and they'll probably still play. Tell me why I shouldn't take the Vikings, Muff, because that I don't want to, but that line makes me feel like I want to take the Vikings.
I mean, I definitely don't have anything to really talk you out of it. Especially this is Green Bay. If this is Green Bay in December, I would say I would maybe caution you against it, but I have no reason to not think that Kirk Cousins can't get some stuff done in this game.
I like this. I'm leaning Vikings.
On to the 4:00 games. Browns at Seahawks. Seahawks are by 3.5, over under 38.5. Just, I mean, Deshaun Watson's still questionable. Who knows? He may start playing and feel like he doesn't want to play anymore. The Browns defense is what's going to keep him in this game no matter what. I feel like the Seahawks are getting some points just for the mere fact that the Browns are traveling.
And the running back situation.
Yeah, and the running back situation, right? Ford is out. Kareem Hunt is the only back that we know of in that backfield at the moment. So that's a tough look. I'm gonna stay away.
Me too.
Alex?
Don't trust the Browns.
Well, it's a personal stance that I can get behind. Bengals at 49ers. 49ers favored by 3.5, over under 43.5. Deebo Samuel, I believe, is still out.
Yes, I believe.
I think he's questionable.
He's out till mid-November.
Oh, not questionable.
Yeah. Tackle for the 49ers, Williams, is questionable. Brock Purdy is doubtful with concussion on this day.
Oh.
Don't even know who's next on that depth chart. So
isn't it the kid from? We know this answer. We've talked about this guy. We've gone over this. This makes me angry. Hold on.
What are you? The backup for the Browns?
No, for the 49ers, bud.
No, for the 49ers. Brock Purdy.
Hold on, I'm looking.
The Bengals, right? The Bengals. Who knows? Who knows what Bengals team is going to show up? I believe they're coming off a bye, though.
It's Sam Darnold.
That's right. It's Sam Darnold. He's the one that's slated to start if Purdy's out.
Or Brandon Allen.
It's Sam Darnold. I think they've already stated that he's the backup.
Gotcha.
So Yeah, the Bengals, I think they're coming off a bye, so maybe a little bit healthier, a little bit rejuvenated. They're traveling across the country. The 49ers coming off a loss. Staying away.
I say that defense eats up Joe Burrow.
There is a very good chance of that.
Do we get that stat? What was that stat from Nate though? Like there might be some in-game action I throw some money on. Isn't it if they're down 5 points or
No idea.
more? I think it's if they're down
Oh,
5 points or
5 points or
more.
more
in the
going into the
fourth.
fourth quarter.
Yeah, going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. That they've lost 29 straight.
Yeah. Well, they have to be down by that many going into the fourth quarter for that to mean anything in this one.
I'm gonna keep my eyeballs on it.
That's fair. That's fair. Ravens at Cardinals. Ravens favored by 8.5 coming off their big win last week.
I feel like Ravens will probably cover this, if I'm being honest.
Cardinals, just the Cardinals. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Then why aren't we betting it?
I'm staying away.
Why?
I think that there could be overreaction to what the Ravens did last week.
They beat the shit out of Detroit. Is Detroit a lesser team than the Cardinals?
Just saying, I think there may be an overreaction. I think the Lions laid down in that one. The Ravens played above where they typically play. I'm just not comfortable.
Well, it's not an
coming back on-
overreaction then. You think it's a unicorn game last week. Like it was
Right. That's an overreaction. I think without that, the Ravens are favored by like 6.5 in this one.
Do they still win?
The Ravens?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like-
they still win.
Okay.
I just don't know if it's going to be by more than a touchdown.
I got you. That makes sense.
In the last game at 4 o'clock, we have the Chiefs at the Broncos. Chiefs favored by 7.5, over under 46.5.
Why? Why? What are we doing? Are we really talking ourselves into these corners? Like, are we gone too far here?
I'm going to stay away from this.
Why?
It's the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs will probably win. The Chiefs also are not covering machines.
The Swifties are going to be out in Denver.
She's about to go to a world tour.
We've been saying that for weeks. We don't know when. We should
I
probably
think
figure that out.
It's probably, I think it's in the next week or two.
Taylor, I can't believe putting this in my search history. Son of a bitch. Taylor Swift World Tour. I'm gonna look it up. Keep going.
I agree with you, Muff. It's the Chiefs aren't exactly covering machines. I think they win this, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they cover. I just makes me nervous to put money on it.
Yeah. Sunday night football, Bears at Chargers. Chargers favored by 8.5, over under 46.5. Bears still starting Tyson Bagent. Chargers are the Chargers.
I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I'll watch this. It'll probably be fun.
But like, isn't that stupid too? Like the last 3 games we've said, we're gonna stay away from the Ravens. We're gonna stay away from the Chiefs. We're gonna stay away from the Chargers. Against the Cardinals, the Broncos, and the Bears.
But have we been right or wrong?
The only one we can say is we were wrong last week with the Ravens. Other than that, I can't be sure.
To Argentina on November 9th. So we got 2 more weeks out of her?
Maybe one. The next week she may not be there.
That's true. Got to prepare. And then we don't have to see her again.
Uncomfortable.
I think she'll be in Tokyo for the Super Bowl.
There's been a discussion about that. Would she come back for the Super Bowl game? Because I think it's the day after or the day before she's in Tokyo.
Well, when is we got now? I got to figure out the Super Bowl date. Son of a, this has gotten too far.
No, it's the day after or day before. I know that. I just forget which way that is.
Super Bowl 2024 is Sunday, February 11th. Team money. You know, this is stupid. She will be in Tokyo on the 10th.
Yep, she's coming back. Coming back,
and then have a break until the 16th. It's almost like it was planned. Put all your money down on the Chiefs to the Super Bowl right now.
Do it, Jim. You'd be the first one in line.
The script is out there, folks.
There it is. Staying away from Bears Chargers.
I'm betting my money on Taylor Swift.
That has nothing to do with the
gonna
Bears
make a secret-
Chargers.
Maybe she's gonna make a secret halftime performance.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. And in Monday Night Football, the Raiders traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions favored by 8.5 over under 45.5. Yeah, I'm staying away. I should want to be on the Lions. I should want with all of my body to be on the Lions. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, no, not by minus 8.5. Nope.
Nope, Jim.
After they let us down last week.
I agree with that.
You buying tickets right now?
No, I agree with that. As much as I hate it, I want to go with Detroit Dan to bounce back. The Raiders don't have much to write home about, but I agree. Of the last 4 games, though, I think that one's the most logical to be like, nah, stay away.
All right, that wraps up the NFL slate, which brings us into college football. Take it away, gents.
So I have the Thursday night game out there. Syracuse at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech minus 2.5, over under 47.5. I kind of like Syracuse plus 2.5. I don't understand why Virginia Tech's favored.
Staying away.
I understand that, but why do you think Virginia Tech's favored?
Because Syracuse hasn't done anything since the first 3 or 4 games of the season.
Good point. Good point. Alex, what do you think?
I had a feeling you were going to say Syracuse. Gun in my head, I'd take Syracuse, but I'm not gonna.
Okay. Alex, you go next. I want to find things to argue with Muff about.
Okay. Saturday at noon, we have number 6 Oklahoma taking on the Kansas Jayhawks. Oklahoma is favored by 10 points, over under 65.5.
Ooh, buddy. Alex, are you conflicted?
I am conflicted. I will not be placing money or bets on this.
You want to do the Kansas thing. You can do Kansas plus 10 and Oklahoma still wins.
Yeah, but this one, I don't know. Oklahoma looks pretty good. I'm just gonna stay away and watch it and enjoy it.
Okay. Alex,
any comments, Jim?
No, I'm staying away.
All right. Moving into the Big Ten, Indiana at number 10, Penn State. Penn State minus 31.5, over under 45.5. Penn State coming off a loss. Does it bounce back strong, Muff?
Oh, yeah. Penn State in a bounce back game, doing their thing. Defense is the reason that all the things happen. Penn State's going to be able to run all over an Indiana team. Penn State by 35 plus.
I think you're wrong. And I hate doing this, and I'm not talking shit on Penn State.
Well, here we go. Doesn't mean
I worry about
harm,
the cover
inserts
here.
harm.
I worry about the cover. I think they're going to win. I think they might win by 28, but I worry about Indiana being a trap because they seem to always score garbage points.
You can have that feeling. I just don't agree with it.
That's my thing. So it's not to besmirch Penn State, but more to say Indiana's a fucking trap.
All right. Next, we have WVU traveling to Central Florida. Central Florida is favored by 7, over under 58.5. Gun to my head, I think I would take WVU plus 7.
I like that too.
I'm not going to because I don't bet on my team, but I
Yeah,
have some bias, obviously, but I also feel like if anything, I'm usually more down on them.
It's true. Yeah, I would lean that way with you.
Yeah.
All right, moving to the 1 o'clock slate, we have Dabo and Clemson taking on NC State. Clemson favored by 10 points, over under 43.5.
I know.
NC State plus 10.
Sad Dabo or just sad Dabo cover?
I think they roll.
Okay. I was just curious. I had no vested interest in this aside from to hear the Clemson discussion.
This is one I will not say sad Dabo. I want him to be sad. I always want him to be sad. But
at 3:30 p. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
At 3:30 p.m., we have Pitt traveling to Touchdown Jesus to take on number 14 Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored by 20.5 points, over under 44.5.
Same thing. I have the same mentality about Penn State as I do here with Notre Dame. I think Pitt can catch you in some bullshit points in the end.
Yeah, I was venturing Pitt plus the points, but ultimately I'm going to stay away from this.
Fair enough. Let's see. Sorry, I scrolled a little. There we go. All right. Number 1, Georgia goes to the Swamp to take on the Florida Gators. The Bulldogs are favored by 14.5 points, over under 47.5.
The Gators have
I like the Gators plus
all
14.5
that they need
in the Swamp.
in the Swamp. Brock
Yep.
Bowers out.
Yep.
Georgia is going to be struggling to find the dynamic playmaker in that offense. Florida stays within 2 touchdowns. I'm not saying they win, but they stay within the 2 touchdowns. Florida plus the points. Give it to me.
Yep. I'm
I
hearing
am
that
also
home.
on that. Next, we have BYU at number 7, Texas. Texas, who is without Quinn Ewers. Texas minus 17.5, over under 50.5.
Will this be the debut of Arch Manning?
I think so.
How wild would that be?
I
What if he
mean,
comes in and steals the job?
well, they were expecting that to happen at some point. I just didn't think this is how they thought it was going to go down.
I like Texas here, regardless of the injury. And I know that's wild, but I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away till we see some tape on Arch. And Arch isn't even guaranteed to start.
Yeah, you're right.
He didn't play last week whenever Ewers went down. So
You think they're going to redshirt him? I think that's what they're saving him for.
I forget when that time comes. I forget this may be one of the last weeks to actually redshirt somebody.
Not last week was, but
That's why I'm not sure.
mm-hmm.
If he's exhausted that time, then there's no reason not to put him in there and see what happens if they think that he's progressed well enough.
Next, we have number 8, Oregon, traveling to number 13, Utah. Cam Risingless, Utah. Confirmed.
Definitively, right.
Definitively confirmed. Oregon is favored by 6.5 points. The over-under is 47.5. I like Oregon here.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the Bo Nix situation.
I like Oregon. Utah just had a big win. I don't see them getting 2 in a row. And it's only by 1 touchdown.
Who
is
did
my thought
Utah win?
process.
Who they beat?
USC.
Yeah, I don't think USC is all that. I think this is.
I still feel like that's a solid win for them, though.
I agree, but I don't think like comparables. I don't think Utah or
No.
USC and Oregon are comparable.
No, I agree. I just kind of think they're hitting that like. I think I can see Oregon winning by a touchdown, even if they don't blow them out.
Yeah. I'll stay away, but I think Oregon's got this one.
All right. Next, we have number 20, Duke, at number 18, Louisville. Louisville was favored by 4.5 points, over under 46.5.
That definitively means Riley Leonard is not playing.
Yes.
So I'm going to stay away from this.
Yeah, I think I am too. Yeah, that's the only reason for Duke to be underdogs to Louisville is to not have Riley Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
But next, we have Michigan State at Minnesota. Well, that's going to be an exciting game.
Mm.
Minnesota -7, over under 40.5.
What do y'all think?
Big Ten fans out there? Anyone?
I have nothing in me that wants to watch this game, be a part of this game, think about this game, research this game, or talk about this game.
I have done a little recon on this game. The sites that I've seen are citing that Michigan should win this game and to take Michigan +3 because they don't believe Minnesota has a passing game that can keep up.
Michigan State +7?
+3, I'm sorry. Plus the points.
+7.
Is it +7?
Yeah, that's where I saw it last.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to put this game in here, so
I did. I'm sorry. I'm reading things to you and trying to juggle. It's hard for me right now. I'm struggling. They're citing the lack of passing game by Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I'm probably gonna lean. I'm probably gonna take this and take Minnesota.
Okay.
I'm gonna fly in the face of the sites.
Okay. At 4 o'clock, we have number 24 USC taking on Cal. USC is favored by 10.5 points over under 66.5. Is this a recency bias that USC is only favored by 10.5 at Cal? Because Cal's not very good.
They got a decent point line there. Looking at like a 42, like a 38 to 28 game. It's the projection there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stay away. I don't want anything to do with USC at this point.
I don't know enough about Cal.
There's not much to know about him, I feel like.
Some smart kids.
Like I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of the West Coast games. I don't think I've seen a lot of Cal games out here.
Yeah, I don't think they've played a lot of the teams yet that would get them some TV time.
Next, we have 6 o'clock p.m. Marshall at Coastal Carolina. Marshall -4 over under 45.5. I like Marshall.
Alex likes the
I'm
Thunder
sorry.
Herd.
I'm gonna have to do it to our boys, I think.
Well, Jim hates them. Says so.
Oh
His
yeah,
fantasy team.
Who are you taking, Alex?
Marshall.
Muff, what are you taking?
I'm not.
Like if you had to pick.
I'd pick the over under. Give me the over.
If you had to pick the spread, Muff.
I'm
damn
not.
it.
I'm not feeding into your I need this for my work thing game. I'm not gonna give you a pick that I don't believe in that you can come back and be like, ah, you guys said this and it didn't work out.
I hate you, Muff. You were just
Give me the
terrible.
over. Next time, allow me to make sure you can take over and unders in these games.
Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty. 7 p.m. slate. Number 21 Tennessee at Kentucky. Tennessee -3.5 over under 51.5.
I like Kentucky, but not enough to put any best bets on it. Yeah, not gonna do it. I lean Kentucky plus the points though.
Jim?
I like Muff's take. I like Kentucky plus the points.
You're not gonna take it.
No, I have too much right now.
All right. Also at 7, we have number 5 Washington at Stanford. Washington -26.5 over under 60.5.
Give me the dogs in prime time to cover. This is a Penix showout game for the Heisman voters since he is now not the favorite. He's got to do some things. And this is a game for him to put up stats.
I don't hate that take. What say you, Jim?
I struggled with this one today. I kept going back and forth on it. I like the upset here. I like Stanford to get another one.
Another win?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's silly.
Maybe
You can't strike lightning in a bottle 2 weeks and take the Virginia North Carolina game. That's not going to happen in this one.
Okay.
Not gonna happen.
All right, man.
All righty. Next at 7:30, we have Dion in Colorado at number 23 UCLA. UCLA favored by 17.5 points over under 63.5.
I just put this in here. Colorado coming off a bye week.
Not touching
I would love to just bet for points in this game, but I'm not. I'm gonna stay away. I would love to just take the over.
That's kind of if I had to take something, that's where I would lean. But
Alex, why are you staying away from it, man?
Because I don't want to be involved.
Okay.
Jim, what are you gonna do? What is your guess, Jim? What would you do if you gun to your head?
I think UCLA. No, Prime with the points. God damn. Is Hunter Henry back or Hunter whatever his name is?
Travis
Henry
is back. He's been back. He was back before their bye week.
Did he play?
Yes.
Oh, then I'm taking UCLA with the points because he obviously doesn't make that big of an impact.
I mean, I disagree, but
all right.
Yeah.
Next at 7:30 of number 3 Ohio State at Wisconsin. Ohio State is favored by 14.5 points over under 44.5.
I like the over here.
it's fair. Does that line mean anything to you, Jim? 14.5? Or does that seem about where you would like to see it? or expect to see it, I should say.
That's where I would expect to see it,
Okay.
What do
but
you
I
think,
would still take the over.
Or Muff, any opinion?
No, I was just curious if that 14.5 seemed fair to Jim.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if High State covers it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Like, I want to know what, like, it's at Wisconsin. I want to know how healthy Ohio State comes into that game. And you got to think Fickle's changing the mindset, right? Like, whatever. You're going to get me down a rabbit hole of Ohio State fandom. We don't need to go down. It
all
depends
right.
on how healthy the Ohio State is as far as what the outcome is.
All right. Moving into the 8 o'clock slate. Washington State at Arizona State. Washington State -5.5, over under 51.5.
I put this in here just because we talked about Arizona State, that they've been competitive in games that don't make sense. I think this reflects that. I would have expected Washington State to be like 9-10 point favorites. It's at Arizona State. I'm going to stay away, but I just thought it was interesting to see that line is so short.
Yeah, I agree. Because of our conversation, I was tempted to add points, but I think I will not. Next, we have Old Dominion at number 25, James Madison. James Madison -20.5, over under 48.5. I have not a bad feeling, but I don't think James Madison covers this.
I want to take James Madison, right? As long as this free JMU kick that Jim's on is out there, I want JMU to be the team. I want them.
I want them to be too.
Right, they can still win, but not cover.
Yeah, that's what I worry about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like they
that defense is tough.
Yeah. So I'll be rooting for him. I hope it's on TV and I can watch it, but I don't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, we have Cincinnati at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State -7.5, over under 52.5.
Pounding the Oklahoma State -7.5.
Because
that Cincinnati Pitt game, like, I don't think Cincinnati has it in them.
Okay. I have no real knowledge of either of these teams.
I just don't. Alex, tell me I'm wrong. Like, you've seen enough Oklahoma State games.
My lean towards Oklahoma State gives me more. My lean towards Oklahoma State comes more from Oklahoma State starting to click and get things together more than Cincinnati sucks. Cincinnati has nothing for me to really write home about, and Oklahoma State's starting to hit their stride.
Right.
So that's why I would lean Oklahoma State in this game. But
yeah.
And the last game on our slate, number 11, Oregon State at Arizona. Oregon State's favored by 3.5 points, with the over/under set at 56.5.
Oh, I just 3.5. Like, I think Arizona's been competitive in some games, but I think this may be a competing styles game. I think this may be what this comes down to. I think Oregon State is heavy run, and Arizona, I think, is heavy pass. So I think it's just conflicting styles.
No, I gotcha.
So I'm staying away. But I thought it was interesting that was the line. All right, that brings us into our best bets. Jim, since you wanted to go first, do you want to go first again?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, have at it.
I'll start with college. Florida +14.5 against Georgia. Oklahoma State -7.5 against Cincinnati. Minnesota -7 against Michigan State. Marshall -4 against Coastal, and Virginia Tech -2.5 against Syracuse. In the NFL, I'm taking the Bills -8.5 against the Bucks, the Eagles -6.5 against the Commanders, and the Vikings -1.5 against the Packers.
Hey, I will go next.
I could have gone the last 4 games on our NFL slate and added them on there, but if I said 12 games, would you guys just murder me?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that's not the best way to improve your record.
I could hit them all.
You could also win the lottery. Could also win the lottery. I've got Penn State to cover 31.5, hosting Indiana. Florida plus the points in the Swamp against Georgia. Washington cover 26.5, traveling to those smart-ass nerds at Stanford. Bills to cover 8.5 in Thursday night NFL action, hosting the Bucks. Eagles to cover 6.5, traveling to the Commanders.
Bum, ba-dum, bum,
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 bum.
bum, bum.
And the Falcons to cover 2.5, traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans.
I like it. I have a very small slate this week. I just didn't feel good about a lot of things. So I'm just going to stick with what I feel good with. I'm going to go with Eagles -6.5 at the Commanders, Falcons -2.5 at Titans, Florida +14.5 versus Georgia, Utah -6.5 versus Oregon. Or I'm sorry, Oregon -6.5 at Utah. I read that backward. I was like, I don't want that. And then Marshall -4 at Coastal Carolina.
All right. Brings us into our specialty picks. First, in the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week.
Pow, pow.
Are there any team rides right now? Falcons? Is Falcons a team ride?
Falcons is
Nope.
a team ride?
No,
No?
I stayed
Nope.
away from that.
Okay. Eagles is a team ride.
Georgia's a team ride, or the Florida is a team
Eagles
ride.
in Florida.
I feel more confident about the Eagles, personally.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
All right. And the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week is Eagles cover 6.5, traveling to the Commanders.
Well, let's wait a second. Let's back this boat up. The record for this pick, okay,
Yeah.
3-5.
Right.
Okay.
And we've said there's been no argument. There's been no debate. There's been, all right, you got it. All right. I don't feel good about that. Okay, let's go with the other one. Boom, done. Okay.
Okay.
Let's think about this for a second. I just want to put a little spice to it for a second.
Do it.
Muff, why do you feel better about the Eagles than Florida?
Well, I feel better about the Falcons than both of them.
I'm not picking that game though. But
well,
listen, I'm not done.
let's just talk
I'm
about
not
this.
fucking done, Muff.
You just said
Hold on, I'm not done.
we were like,
You gotta let
wow,
me
let's
finish
not
the
take that one.
Alex,
you just
referee
asked
this.
you just asked me
Referee
my
this,
opinion,
please.
and then you said, no, we're not going to talk about it like that.
I'm not done.
I haven't had to make the
my
buzzer
sentence.
noise in a while.
You said, what do you think, Muff? And I started to give you my thoughts, and you're like, nope, don't care.
Muff. I'm okay with putting that in there if you guys are okay with me not being on that.
I mean, I'm obviously okay with it.
I mean,
But
it's
typically,
the rules of the hit
typically,
stick.
I understand. That's why I'm saying that's how I feel, and I feel more confident the Eagles cover than Florida getting plus the points, because I mean Georgia could be Georgia, and
I
that could
agree.
easily happen. So
Throw it out. Cool. But what about, do you feel better of the Eagles or the Falcons? We're trying to win. Eagles or Falcons?
personally, I feel better about the Falcons.
Alex?
I feel better about the Falcons probably too.
Then put it in there.
Okay. In turn of events, the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week is the Falcons cover 2.5, traveling to Tennessee. Next in the Midwest Mobster risky pick.
Get out of here. This might be harder.
This is probably gonna be a little bit tougher.
Wait.
Because
Florida.
we don't have any. I mean, yeah, we can go for it. That's just a 14-point spread. That's
That's
just
That's a
insane.
super risky pick.
that's the
So
risky pick
risky-
is typically been within like 1 to 4 points total this year, I think.
Insane. Hot damn.
Arizona State,
Against
What's the line?
Washington State, 5.5.
no.
Kentucky over Tennessee.
I don't feel
You know
terrible.
what? I
I
ain't
don't
mad
feel
about
I don't
that.
feel terrible with that. I can get on board with that if we come back and there's nothing else to put up there. Because I haven't found
There's
anything else.
Syracuse that goes in conflict of my bet, but I'm not mad about it.
Nah, we're not going to do that. That's silly.
I'm not mad about it because I was very torn.
You still put it on there. So if you're that torn, why don't you take it off?
No, because I've got it. It's a new me this week.
How?
I'm just going with the first thought that goes in my head.
Alex, I can get on board with Kentucky.
That's fine by me.
I also like the Steelers.
I feel like
Mm,
we get burned a lot when we pick the Steelers.
not against the Jags.
Okay.
Not against the Jags just yet.
Big fan of the Panthers. Big fan.
That's
we
the other
know.
game I was going to bring up.
If we cut you out slightly to the all-star pick, Jim, I'm willing to allow you some more grace in the mobster pick.
Either I like the Kentucky or the Panthers. I'm probably split.
Take it to the light.
Take it to the
Cool.
light.
Hey, Jim, you get to make the choice. The light side is
The Panthers.
Kentucky. It is.
The light is spoken.
The light has spoken. The Midwest mobster risky pick of the week is Kentucky Moneyline Dog taking on Tennessee.
I also want credit because I said the Panthers were a moneyline dog and got it correct.
Well, yes, we'll give you that. You knew what a money line dog was.
You have grown as a human.
Thank you.
Next, it's the Lolita Whale of a Parlay.
Oh.
That was good.
We automatically have the Falcons -2.5 at the Titans is in the parlay. I don't know who goes first. Really don't even know at this
I
point.
think you do because you hit the Falcons last week.
Because I won last week. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's toss in the Eagles -6.5 at the Commanders.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
True. Jim,
Alex,
you want me to go or you want to go?
I can
You
flip the
go.
light. I can flip the light for you too.
the light.
Yeah,
Alex gets to choose this time.
the light is Jim.
Alex goes first.
Okay. I like Marshall -4 at Coastal Carolina.
I was debating that too.
Jim?
I like the Vikings -1.5. I feel like I just threw chaos into all this, but I'm totally okay with it.
All right. There's the picks for the week, ladies and gents.
I'm betting that parlay. I'm betting the shit out of that parlay.
I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna put units on that parlay.
Units, entire units,
Units.
multiple units. All right, everybody. Thank you, as always, for listening to the sports betting episode of the Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise. We appreciate all of the likes, all of the follows, everything on the social media at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, sportsstuffw /Jim, Ampersand Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review.
Tickle and get the bell on.
Ding ding.
Do all of the things, because when you ride this gravy train into the station on a Friday, it will be
A payday.